policy provides the opportunity for the RBI to announce certain additional measures against the backdrop of a deteriorating outlook for economic activity. These policy actions complement and strengthen each other in intent and reach. The measures being announced today can broadly be delineated under four categories. 1. Measures to improve the functioning of markets and market participants. 2. Measures to support exports and imports. 3. Efforts to further ease financial stress caused by COVID-19 disruptions by providing relief on debt servicing and improving access to working capital. And 4. Steps to ease financial constraints faced by the state governments. I first take up measures to improve the functioning of markets. The RBI had earlier announced a special refinance facility of 15,000 crore to SIDBI at RBI's policy repo rate for a period of 90 days for the lending and refinancing operations of the SIDBI. In order to provide greater flexibility to SIDBI, it has been decided to roll over the facility at the end of the 90th day for another 90 days. The next point relates to investments by the foreign portfolio investors, that is FPIs, under the voluntary retention route of the RBI. Since its introduction, the voluntary retention route scheme has evinced strong investor participation, with investments exceeding 90% of the limits allotted under the scheme. In view of the difficulties expressed by FPIs and their custodians on account of COVID-19 related disruptions in adhering to the condition that at least 75% of allotted limits be invested within 3 months, it has been decided that an additional 3 months' time will be allowed to FPIs to fulfill this requirement. The next set of measures relate to our effort to support exports and imports. The deepening of the contraction in global activity and trade, accentuated by rapid spread of COVID-19, has crippled external demand. In turn, this has impacted India's exports and imports, both of which have contracted sharply in the recent months. In view of the importance of exports and imports to the economy, certain measures are being taken to support the foreign trade sector. The first measure relates to export credit. In order to alleviate genuine difficulties being faced by exporters in their production and realization cycles, it has been decided to increase the maximum permissible period of pre-shipment and post-shipment export credit sanctioned by the banks from the existing 1 year to 15 months for disbursements made up to July 31st, 2020. The next measure relates to liquidity facility for the Exim Bank of India. In order to enable the Exim Bank to meet its foreign currency resource requirements, it has been decided to extend a line of credit of rupees 15,000 crore to the Exim Bank for a period of 90 days with rollover of up to 1 year, so as to enable it to avail a US dollar swap facility. Next measure relates to extension of time for payment for imports. With a view to providing greater flexibility to importers in managing their operating cycle in a COVID-19 environment, it has been decided to extend the time period for completion of outward remittances against normal imports, that is, excluding import of gold, diamonds, and precious stones and jewelry, into India from 6 months to 12 months from the date of shipment of such imports made on or before July 31st, 2020. The next set of measures relate to measures to ease the financial stress. The RBI had earlier, on 2 separate occasions, on March 27th and on April 17th, when I made statements in the media, the RBI had announced, on both these occasions, certain regulatory measures pertaining to granting of 3 months moratorium on term loan installments. That is the first one we had announced. 2, deferment of interest for 3 months on working capital facilities. 3, easing of working capital financing requirements by reducing margins or reassessment of working capital cycle. 3, exemption from being classified as defaulter in supervisory reporting and reporting to credit information companies. 5, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm just listing out. It's possible that it missed to, that exemption probably was number 5, exemption from being classified as defaulter. I think that was 4. The 5th point is extension of resolution timelines for stressed assets. And the 6th point was asset classification standstill by excluding the moratorium period of 3 months. So all these measures we have announced on 27th of March and on April 17th, essentially arising from this 3 months time we gave 3 months moratorium we allowed on the term loans, then on working capital we allowed certain relaxations and associated measures. In view of the extension of the lockdown and continuing disruptions on account of COVID-19, the above measures are being further extended by another 3 months from 1st June till 31st August, taking the total period of applicability of the measures to 6 months. That is from 1st March to 31st August 2020. The lending institutions are being permitted to restore the margins. Now, this is another announcement which I would like to draw your attention to. The lending institutions are being permitted, not only with regard to working capital, we are extending the time limit by another 3 months, but the lending institutions are being permitted to restore the margins for working capital to their original levels by 31st March 2020. This is one area where we had given 3 months time now. We are now giving time that the margins which the reduced margins, that will be restored by 31st March, which will make it easier for borrowers to sort of manage their finances, manage their cash flow in a gradual manner. Similarly, the measures pertaining to reassessment of working capital cycle are being extended up to 31st March 2021. Additionally, it has been decided to permit lending institutions to convert the accumulated interest on working capital facilities over the total deferment period of 6 months, that is from 1st March to 31st August, into a funded interest term loan which shall be fully repaid during the course of the current financial year ending 31st March 2021. Now, this is one area where we had received a lot of representations, not only from banks but also from the real sector borrowers. They were saying that the earlier deferment of interest which RBI had permitted, that meant that the entire interest component, the entire accumulated interest during the 3 months moratorium had to be sort of paid back to the bank in one shot. Obviously, it was posing problems in cash flow management for the various borrowers, for the various borrowing entities. So taking this into account, we have now decided that it will be converted into the deferment of the working capital during the 6 months period. They will be converted into a funded interest term loan which will be fully repaid during the course of the current year, that is during the next few months, and the payment shall be completed by 31st March. This will provide considerable amount of ease, and this will facilitate easier cash flow management by the borrowing entities. In view of the current difficulty in raising resources from capital markets, the group exposure limit of banks is being increased from 25% to 30% of eligible capital base for enabling the corporates to meet their funding requirement from banks. The increased limit will be applicable up to June 30th, 2021. The last set of measures, they relate to easing the financial constraints faced by the state government, and there is one announcement. In order to ease the bond redemption pressure on the states, it has been decided to relax the rules governing the withdrawal from the Consolidated Sinking Fund, that is CSF, while at the same time ensuring that depletion of fund balance is done prudently. Together with the normally permissible withdrawal, this measure will enable the states to meet about 45% of the redemptions of their market borrowings which are due in the current year 2021. Detailed guidelines for all the above announcements will be issued separately. I now come to my concluding remarks. I would like to say that central banks are typically seen as conservative institutions, yet when the tide turns and all the chips are down, it is to the central banks that the world turns for support, and this is all over the world, almost in every country, and this is visible in the action being taken by the various central banks across the world. And you would have noticed in India also the RBI is trying to take necessary measures, and we are, whatever maximum measures we are able to undertake, the RBI is at the forefront and is taking the measures. Going forward, as I have said, we will continue to be vigilant and we will take whatever measures are necessary to meet the COVID-related challenges which are ahead of us. As I have stated earlier, the RBI will continue to remain vigilant and in battle readiness to use all its instruments and even fashion new ones, as recent experience has demonstrated, to address the dynamics of the unknown future. The goal, as I have enunciated earlier, are number one, to keep the financial system and financial markets sound, liquid, and smoothly functioning. Number two, to ensure access to finance to all, especially those that tend to get excluded by the financial markets. And three, and very important, to preserve financial stability. It shall be our endeavor that RBI's actions and stance contribute to laying the foundations for a better tomorrow in India. Today's trials may be traumatic, but together we shall triumph. I would like to conclude on this optimistic note. Thank you very much for your patience.